Hi there, Jonathan here, and yeah, we're on a Sunday morning, or I guess nudging lunchtime, 12th of October, so we're on day 42. So today I'm going to be talking about Facebook ads, a little bit of a dive into my campaign, how it's structured, how I look at the metrics side of things, and also exactly what it is I'm looking to do next on the ad side of things, which, if you remember, is all about trying to reduce that cost of customer acquisition. But first, a snapshot on the numbers. Obviously, yes, good day yesterday. We saw a good sort of climb back out. So I'm guessing the Facebook ads algorithm has found me a little bit better audience. So that's now sort of working well. So yesterday we actually ended up just over the $1,000, $1,019, and our ad spend. Let's have a look at that yesterday. We need under the right heading. And I'm going to show you a bit about these metrics and columns just in a moment. But about £314 spent, which is about $420, which gives us a net a profit figure of 599, which is absolutely really where we want to be. You know, that level puts us definitely on track to hit our results. It's all relative to obviously to the ad spend, to try and make sure that we're not just increasing ad spend without actually increasing the profit number as well. Okay, so that's good, and actually today is good. Today it's just midday now, and can't even see that, can we? Where are we at? We are at $600 by midday, so that's also a good position to be in. So we'll no doubt we're ahead of ad spend nicely now. So obviously anything that we can continue to drive through to the end of the day is all good. Hopefully we'll be, around the 800-900, something similar to that, which is all good. Okay, so let's look at ads. Now, obviously, this is a big sort of area and a big part of this. But really, I want to just firstly talk about the metrics side, and then just show you some of the ads and what I'm doing with the ads, what sort of ones are working at the moment. Hopefully they may give you some clues and ideas as to what you might decide to do. So first, let me talk just briefly about the metrics side of things. So actually, as you can see here, I've created my own, this is my own custom list of metrics. So I can change the headings to, I can look at just the metrics that I want to. So by default, they've got things like performance and traffic. Obviously, if we click on performance, that just gives us a different set of metrics to look at. But some of these metrics aren't really useful to me in terms of actually what's going on and what I need to see. Let's just move on to the so we're on here on the campaign level. I'm just going to jump straight to the ads level, because I've got basically one campaign, one ad set, and then all the ads in that place. But I really want to be able to see the numbers that are useful to me. So what you can do is literally come down here on the reports, go down to the bottom, and then customize columns. And then what you can do is you can roll over each one of these, and it'll tell you what that metrics tells you. Now, there are an awful lot of metrics you can look at, as you can see, so it can get a little bit overwhelming, but there are certain ones that I use that I'm just going to show you now. Let me just close that back. So if I go to mine, because the thing is, once you've set the metrics that you want, you can save it and then just come onto that, and then it gives you everything that you need to see. So let's just go into, if I was going to customize my own version, and let me show you what I do. So the metrics that I look at, obviously I want to know how much I've spent. Frequency, that's something I'll look at because I want to make sure my ads don't get oversaturated with my audience, because then they'll start to flag a little bit and start to get shown less. So, frequency, anything up to probably 3 in frequency is fine. Probably once it starts to get above that, you'll get some ad fatigue and it'll start to be less effective. So frequency is worth keeping a note of. Reach, I just like to get a metric as to how far that's stretching out to. It's not essential. CPM, that's cost per 1,000 impressions. It's a bit of a random number, really, because it's completely variable. It's changing all the time. It depends on what markets you're going for and how competitive the niche you're looking at. So a CPM in certain niche might cost $5. In a different market, it might cost $50. So it's not something that really is transferable across different niches in different markets. And it also depends on the type of campaign objective you've got. So is there just a bit of a barometer, more or less a sort of a comparison of 1 month to the next? Because if I suddenly find all my ad costs have gone up, but nothing else has changed, it's likely that actually what's changed is that CPM figure. So it just gives me a reference point to just see where we are compared to previous months. I haven't really got information of those. Okay, so now we're into the detail side of it. The CTR all, and I've spoken about this earlier on. So this is all about that initial engagement level. Is are my ads and headlines basically stopping the scroll? So that's that first indication. People are pausing long enough to show some interest. So that's a useful metric. And then obviously from there, I want to know what percentage of those people who've paused and stopped have decided to click through. And this is our unique outbound click-through rate, which is going to our landing page. So I want to know what the click-through rate is and how many clicks we're getting. And then really down here, I want to check on the landing page views, because sometimes there's a big discrepancy between an outbound click, caught my bin there, an outbound click and a landing page view. This is useful because sometimes, say you've got 100 outbound clicks but only got 50 landing page views, then what's happened is obviously you've lost a lot of people somewhere in that journey. And quite often it can be, there'll always be some sort of drop off because people either lose interest or clicked by mistake and go back, or whatever it may be. But also it can be an indication, if there's a big discrepancy between those two things, is potentially they're having trouble with your website. So it could be the fact that you've got a slow loading of your landing page. If your landing page is loading in anything more than a couple of seconds, you're going to lose a lot of people. So fast landing page rendering is really important. And then obviously the obvious metrics, I want to measure purchases and cost per purchase and return on ad spend. And that's pretty much it, isn't it? Oh, okay, I need to just keep a reference eye on where my budget's gone, because as you've seen previously, I have had times where Facebook suddenly randomly increased my ad spend. Anyway, so as I click on any of these, it builds to this list on the side, and then obviously I can change them any way I want. I can reorder them, and that's my unique sort of profile. And then obviously I can rename it if I want and save it. Okay, so that's, let me just go to that. How do I get out of that? Okay, so let's talk about the ads themselves. And one thing I have said before is the fact that when I'm looking at any of the ads numbers, I try to reflect. I mean, I don't look at the ads every day by any means. Maybe sort of once a week I'll have a look at them and see how they're doing. Obviously more so if I put new ads in, but generally I haven't been looking at these ads for maybe more than probably closer to 2 weeks, because my focus has been elsewhere on the funnel. But this coming week I'm going back into the ads mode, and let's see what we can do. So I'm looking at these and thinking, okay, what else can we do next to keep the ads fresh, but also see if there's any way we can improve those numbers. So what I do is when I'm looking at the ads, I make sure, this is the dates, I make sure I always keep a view on not just what's happened on the 7-day, but also 14-day and 28-day, because as we know, costs of Facebook traffic fluctuate sort of wildly, so I'm trying to keep a view of a broader view as well as a sort of a more sort of detailed view, because numbers tend to obviously balance and even out over a longer time scale. Anyway, okay, so let's have a look. Let's move this to 28 days and we can see what's going on. Now, in my single ad set, as I've said before, because of this change in the Facebook platform's algorithm and very much the AI and the machine learning taking control of things, it's more the strategy now really is to give the platform plenty of creative in different formats, different setups, different styles, and it'll start to work through them and understand what ones are working best, and then it'll start to use those ads more and more. So your job really is to provide it with those raw assets, if you like. And obviously the higher the ad spend you've got, probably the more creative you're going to put in there, because obviously it needs more material to work with. Obviously, if you've got only a small ad budget and say you're at $10 or $20 a day or whatever, maybe half a dozen creatives is enough. I'm probably close to like sort of $400 now, and so I've got a larger number. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, well, probably about 25 or something like that. But obviously, what you can see over the 28 days, they're not all getting coverage. So some are, some aren't. Let's just organize this by reach, and you can see obviously what ones are working. This is actually the algorithm working and going, actually these ads are continuously performing better. We're going to put those in front of a far higher proportion of your audience. These top two seem to be working well across the board, and obviously you can see they're getting almost massively higher ad spend on them. But obviously you can see here they're talking a bit about that frequency. This one now over the last 28 days is at 2.67. So I'm thinking I need to do something probably with this, and we're going to have a look at this ad in a second, because it is my best performing one. But obviously I'm aware that its frequency is creeping up. This is this CPM figure I was talking about, and again, different ad formats will give you different CPM figures. So it's there as a bit of a broad parameter, but not something you look through. This is obviously a good one, because as I said, the unique CTR all, this is that initial engagement. This is the stopping the scroll bit. So we want good numbers from there. And I've said before, we want potentially a good ratio of people pausing to them people deciding to click through. And in this case, that's good. That's about 50%. This one's even higher, more like about 75% in terms of people clicking from one to the other. And this is our landing page views. So this is always slightly bizarre. We seem to have more landing page views than we've had outbound clicks, so I'm not quite sure how that metric works out. And that's it. You can't necessarily trust all of these metrics as being 100% accurate. So that's why you have to measure stuff not only from what Facebook's telling you, but also from what your landing page and your marketing platform is telling you as well. And let me move myself out of the way here. So you can see obviously the vast number of purchases have come from these top 2 campaigns massively. So yeah, that's about £15 a purchase. So that works out at about $20. But we know our sort of average order value is around sort of $35 to $40. So we know that's always a good number. And I say, if we look at that, this is over the last 28 days. If we look over the last 14 days, it was up at £18. Last 7 days, it was up at £20. So, you know, it looks like this number is getting worse and worse. But as I say, you can't really judge by what's happening in a single week, because, you know, otherwise the temptation is to go, oh god, that's expensive, I'll turn that ad off. But really you need to give it a little bit of a broader time scale to it. So just very quickly now, because I'm trying to keep these videos short, this particular ad, okay, so what is it about it we think is working well? So let's have a look into that. Again, I'm in the way. So what is this is a carousel ad. So what a carousel does, it's basically a series of slides. So what I'm able to do with this is really take the key points I took the key points from the sales page and actually broke it down into a series of messages. So this was the headline one, they're trying to get stop the scroll. Then it talks specifically about my audience problem. Then it starts to talk about what the solution is. Then there's a testimonial. Then there's basically, this is the structure of how it works and the offer, and that also includes the price on it and then the guarantee. So basically what I've done, I've taken all the key moments from the landing page and actually put it into a carousel. So basically tells people, you know, the story of it. So when they go to the landing page, then it's more familiar, and has led to the lower cost per purchase. So, you know, that's something, a very easy thing you can do and take on board, is literally look at your landing page, see if we can break it down, create a carousel, create the steps. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to look at different ways of doing this same carousel, probably just different styles initially, whether I'm going to do something that's more congruent design-wise. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do first something that's more congruent design-wise with the landing page, so there's a stronger connection, but using exactly the same copy and style. And then maybe I'll change the visual style and do another one, just to get those in place. And that's what I'm going to do literally probably tomorrow, and get that up and running. I say, just because I'm looking at the frequency number, and obviously trying to make sure we've got something new to refresh in there. And then I've got a couple of other sort of ideas that we'll talk about as we go through the week. So, you know, the idea is by the end of the coming week, we've got a couple of different things to look at. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you got something from that you can really action today in your funnel. All right, thanks very much. I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.